Hello, welcome to the KHGN studio. I'm Corey Ryan, writer, videographer with KHGN. We're here today for another episode of Focal Point, where we take a look into Harlingen CISD's winning team. Joining me in studio today is Judy Corpus, a 5th grade teacher at Bowie Elementary. Thanks for stopping by.
Hi, Corey. Thank you for having me over.
Now, Judy, how long have you been a teacher, and what got you interested in teaching?
I've been a teacher for about 14 years,
Okay.
and I've always enjoyed teaching. There was no other option. When I went to college, that's what I wanted to do.
Okay, and you've bounced around to a couple school districts here in the Valley?
Yes, this is my 4th school district. I've been in Progreso School District, Santa Rosa, Lyford, and this is my 4th. I'm very, very comfortable here. I really enjoy it.
Okay, and since you've been here with HCISD, you've been at Bowie Elementary teaching which grades?
Yes, I teach at Bowie Elementary, 5th grade. This is my 3rd year with them at that school.
Okay. What do you like about teaching at Bowie Elementary?
More than anything, I enjoy the teachers. My coworkers are wonderful and supportive, as is the administration. I haven't had that kind of ambience to work in for a while. That's why I just said that I'm very comfortable working there, because that's definitely the place where I plan to be for quite a while.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you guys have had some success. For the 4th year in a row, you guys were on the TBEC Honor Roll. Just what does that kind of accolade mean, and why do you think Bowie has constantly been at the top of Texas?
Well, once again, it has to do with working together as a team, having that support from the staff and from the administration, and having wonderful students who are willing to go along with what we're trying to teach them and the materials that we're presenting to them.
Okay. And you're not a Valley native. You're from Mexico, right?
I am originally from Rio Bravo, Tamaulipas. Yes, I was born there. I wasn't raised there. I was raised in San Pedro, Coahuila, which is where most of my stories and my poetry comes from, by the way.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we're gonna get into that. You've been a poet. You said since you were just
11 years old. Yes,
wow.
I've been writing that long, and my audience back then used to be my sisters and my brothers. The minute I would finish a poem, I would run to them and read it to them, or a short story. And now I'm happy to say I have a wider audience. Now I go around doing the open mic circuit, which is little coffee places or libraries. Or on Sunday I was at the Edinburgh Museum reading from one of the anthologies. So it's thrilling. I love it.
Okay. When you were a kid, what made you want to start writing poetry, and what kept you doing it, I guess?
I don't know how to answer that question. What got me to write poetry, I think, was just the need to express myself in that particular way. Like I said, my sisters were my audience, and they were an eager audience. They always wanted to know what I was thinking about and how I was using my imagination. And for them, that's how they enjoyed it, having the poems read out loud to them. But I also think it comes from my aunt. I had this Tia Petra, my aunt Tia Petra, who would come and visit us when we lived in Mexico. And she was like a gypsy. She would arrive with her black bag, and she would tell us stories, and she would recite poetry. And I think that's what sparked it for me. I wanted to be like mi Tia Petra. I wanted to have all, my sisters, my brothers, or whoever looking at me the way we were looking at Tia Petra, like enthralled. She would capture us from the minute she would start reciting something. It was magical.
Poetry is a pretty interesting medium. Just the focus on sounds of words and stuff, sounds and rhythms of words and sentences. Were you very just word-oriented or very verbally growing up?
I've always been, my role model was my father. Okay. He's the only person that I ever saw picking up a book or picking up a newspaper. Unfortunately, my mom was always busy with other things. But seeing him read made me want to learn how to read. And then I started looking for my own sources of entertainment, mostly comic books. I think that's what most of us start out with. And I remember running to the mercado on weekends when I had my money, and I would buy my little stash of 3 or 4 revistas ilustradas, or illustrated or graphic novels, like they call them nowadays. Mm-hmm. Everything from Donald Duck. A lot of them were from America.
Okay.
A lot of the characters that when I came to the United States, I saw, and I thought they were Mexican. They were American.
Yeah.
Big surprise for me.
So you moved to the United States when you were 10 years old.
Mm-hmm, 10 years old.
You started school in an ESL program?
Yes, as an ESL student, because I had not learned any English in Mexico. The schools in Mexico, at least back then, were not that focused on learning a second language. And so when I came here, I probably only knew the ABCs. And like I told you earlier, it was probably due to Sesame Street.
Okay.
And because I'm a TV addict, unfortunately. I was then, I am now, but it has reinforced my language.
Yeah.
And that's how I started out, with very, again, supportive teachers who helped me along, the way I hope that I've been helping my own bilingual students along to succeed in this language that is so difficult to pronounce and to learn.
Yeah. So, how does that factor into your passion for being a teacher now, being able to help students, especially the students who need help learning English?
Well, I try to do it through stories and poetry and just sharing my love for reading. I feel that if I can get some students to develop that same passion for reading, I got them for life. And it's something that they're going to take with them to middle school, to high school, to college, hopefully.
Okay. So
that love for reading.
How specifically are you incorporating poetry in your classroom?
The poetry, the way I'm incorporating it is by using the language to illustrate a point.
Okay.
Recently, though, I've been using my stories, my own personal stories, to bring something alive in the classroom. For example, the latest example was in science. I wanted to teach them the concept of ember, what an ember was. And a lot of our students, they don't have the experiences. So what I told them is that when I used to stay at my Tia Lencha's in Rio Bravo during the cold season, we didn't have, a lot of the homes there, they don't have heaters. Okay. So what they would do is burn charcoal outside of the house for a while. When it was nice and burning, they would bring it inside. And all of us would sleep around it on the floor throughout the night. In the morning, we would still see some embers left inside the bane. And that's how I bring my stories in. And the kids really enjoy it. Halloween it's almost around the corner. So what I plan to do is share some of the stories that I grew up listening to about all those espíritus, ghosts, and things that my family swears they saw, or somebody in the family saw.
Is your family one of your main topics for your poetry, or do you really? I mean,
in the classroom, yes.
Okay.
I bring my family a lot into the conversation, into my experiences. The poetry that I write touches the topics of romantic love, for example, personal experiences, travels that I've taken, observations on life, on people that I have come across.
Okay.
So it's a wide range of things that I write on.
And you brought along some of the anthologies that you've been published in. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Well, these are some of them. I've been lucky. I've only been in the poetry scene for the past 2 years, going to open mics and actually putting my stuff out there to get published. Yesterday, while I was at school, I found out that one of my short narratives, titled Nowhere Men, made it to the writer's issue in the Festiva, the Monitor's Festiva. So that was thrilling. I'll never get tired of seeing my stuff in print.
Yeah.
So now this one is an anthology. It's put together by the Valley International Poetry Festival.
Okay.
And this takes place every year in April. What they do is they get people from all over the valley and outside of the country even, they send their stuff, and if it's good enough, they will publish it. And then in April, we have this festival. And during the festival, the poets, whoever got chosen for this book, we go around different venues reading our work from this book. And it's just a way to put the poets out there in front of the public and let them know that, hey, put a face to the poem. Yeah. This is the person who wrote it. This one is locally produced by a writers group called the Byliners. And this is their most recent creation. They do have another one. The previous one was called Tales Told at Midnight or something. I don't have the correct title. But once again, one of my poems made it into this collection, and it's an honor. Yeah. I'm here with writers that, I look at mine, and mine is good, but I look at theirs, and I think, wow. I'm very thrilled to be here, too. And this other one that I brought is published by South Texas College, the Pecan campus in McAllen. And again, it was an honor. I submitted, and then I got the notice that I was included, and I went to this beautiful presentation where they fed us, always a good thing. And then we got to read in front of other people who are writers and poets and professors, and it's wonderful. It's a chain. It just keeps growing and growing, all these people that I'm getting to know.
Okay, well, that's
It's
pretty
great.
And you brought a poem to share with our audience. Can you tell us a little bit about the poem that you're going to read?
I want to read the poem that is in this collection. I got the opportunity to read this particular poem on Sunday at the Museum of, in Edinburgh, the Museum of History. And I was telling them that ideas for poetry and for stories come from all over the place. I mean, we're surrounded by them. But you just have to have your eyes open and your ears open, and you'll catch an idea. Now, the one that I have here has to do with a dream that I had, in which I dreamed that I'm a bird.
Okay.
And so I titled it Nocturnal Journeys. Last night, while I slept, my spirit transformed itself into a small gray finch, which took flight towards the ocean. Perhaps it wanted to dance with the seagulls under the radiant constellations of an August sky. Or perhaps it was merely responding to a beckoning call by playful, salty breezes, whose vice was to whisper mischievous enticements to small, fragile birds. Fly high above the waves, little one. Let us ruffle your soft feathers with our cool breath. Now, get closer to the hypnotizing rhythms of the ocean and lose your tiny being in its depths. Trust us, precious bird. You've nothing to fear. We'll cradle you and care for you on the way down. Trapped inside the rapid beating heart of that innocent finch, I could not issue a warning. I wanted to scream at the deceiving breezes to leave us in peace. I wanted to scream at my winged host not to get any closer to that ocean. It was a trap, a clever sacrifice by the breezes to romance the waters and to thrill the stars. But perhaps my spirit had wanted to soar on that night of all nights under the gorgeous constellations of an August sky. It could be that it was merely responding to the beckoning calls by those treacherous, playful, salty breezes. Nonetheless, it should never have taken the shape of a foolish, brainless bird which, operating on sheer impulse, flew towards the ocean and was immediately devoured by enormous hungry waves. Tonight, I'll pray that my spirit morphs into something with a fully functional brain before it decides to venture out into a dream world in which breezes are conniving and oceans are ravenous.
Wow.
That's my dream. My dream world.
Your dream. Okay, well that was really good actually. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming by and sharing your poetry with us.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you very much for having me over.
And thank you for joining us for this edition of Focal Point. Be sure to check out our webpage for photos, videos, articles, podcasts, and more chronicling the HCISD family. And be sure to check out our Facebook page.